All right, shalom blessings. I want to come back on because I just made one video, so I thought I'd come on back on and make another video. And I guess I just want to hit on the fact that, and I talked to the saints about this because we just found out that another brother had passed on, right? And as more information had came out, it seems that it could have been prevented, right? So, and I started thinking about, this is the third death within the past year, and that I personally believe that could have been prevented. All three could have been prevented. On one, I won't even hit on, I just think it was negligence. That was our boy Derek. It is what it is. This brother Shannon obviously could have been prevented, but I want to specifically speak on Mom Brenda. All right, and I just want to use her as an example for others once again. Okay, concerning what happened with her and how things went down, and so I'll just tell you pretty much what happened. So, she died in her sleep. You know what I'm saying? She went out peacefully, if you will. At least I believe so. She just didn't wake up. But upon further review, them doing an autopsy, she had an enlarged heart and a clogged artery, and that's what got her. That's how she met her demise. Okay, so. And we talk about, Pastor Mary put out a video and he was talking about this secret rebellion. And, one thing I was talking to the saints about yesterday was, sometimes us men, right? We'll have these man issues. I call it man issues. This is whenever some of us guys beat on our chest and we say that we are men and we got things and we have everything under control. And you don't really need to hear from nobody. Like, I've been doing this without you type thing, right? That's how we think. That's how we function as a people. But as brothers, as brethren in this regeneration, in this ministry, in this assembly, the word talks about bearing each other's burdens. You see what I'm saying? It talks about caring on the affairs of others greater than your own. But how can you truly do that? It even talks about going to restore a brother. But what do you do when you got a saint that won't even take heed to what you're saying? They won't even consider what you say. They won't even consider it. What do you do with that? You see what I'm saying? What Yah does, he just gives you over to a reprobate mind. Yah what the most High would do was just remove his hand from you. And you know who else I see do that? I see our leaders in this ministry do that. I see pastors do it. I see elders do it. I even do it. We'll get to a point where we're telling you and warning you about something. We're warning you about yourself. But we see over a period of time, after our second and third admonition, we're literally seeing that ain't no getting through to you. Ain't no getting through to you at all. You're literally just going to meet your demise somehow, some way. Whether that you get hurt or whether you get injured or whether you end up dead, whatever the case may be, Yah just gives you over to, the lust of your flesh at the end of the day. He gives you over to the desires of your heart. He'll give you over to it. He'll give it to you. It's just like the Israelites when they was in the wilderness, right? And they was complaining about manna. And the Most High began to rain down quail to the point where they were super full on quail. I also thought about, just the stubbornness that we have. I started thinking about the stiff-neckedness that Israel can possess at times. And I'm listening to Pastor today, and he's making these videos. He was putting them out on Patreon, and he was talking about how he's dealing with all these issues in Israel. And like I said, then I heard the Pastor Mary talk about the silent rebellion. And so at the end of the day, man, all I'm saying is consider. How about this? Just see if the shoe fit. Just consider what your brother's trying to tell you. Especially not, can you imagine you got 4 or 5 let's say not even 4 or 5. Let's say you have at least 2 or 3 people coming to you about the same thing, whether that be you personally about something that you're doing, whether it be safe or unsafe, something that you're doing with your children, something that you're doing with your family, something that you're doing just in general, something that maybe that you're doing that's hindering the assembly, something that you're doing that's hindering the tribe. Will you not consider it? It's like having 2 or 3 witnesses or more. Just consider it. So anyway, I'm gonna use my brother as an example on this, all right? So, she was a woman that really did not want to burden anybody. She was one of those that she would do for you, but she really didn't want nobody doing for her. She was such a giver, she didn't know how to receive. This is a person that didn't know how to receive love. Hard to receive correction too. Hard to receive help. And when she first came here, she had a certain type of diet that she would cook with, that she ate, and she's a really good cook. And I told her, I said, you will not cook this way for the saints on the land. And so she said, yes, sir, no problem. So she obeyed and she abided by that rule for the saints, but she did not abide doing that for herself. She continued to, behind the scenes, eat however she wanted to eat. Everybody kind of knows this. Now, the cooking aspect of it, sometimes on land or on a community, you might have like me, I have a family night where I just kind of just kick it with my family. But at one point in time, we only had one stove, right? We only had one main home where we had one kitchen. And so sometimes what you'll see is sisters taking turns, because maybe each one individual spend time with their families. One family might be just popping popcorn, or another family might be making tacos, or another family might be baking cookies just to maybe watch like a little documentary together. So Mom Brenda used to like make like her own little dainty meats, I guess you can call them. And it wasn't good ingredients, man. And so we would tell her, you shouldn't eat this way, even for yourself. And so all these warnings were coming. And you know what the book say, warning come before destruction. And pretty much what ended up happening was we go to Tabernacles 2022. And mind you, I'm finding all this. I'm going to tell you what I did know, and then I'm going to tell you everything that I did not know. So what I did know was she was staying in the tent in the mornings, and I didn't know why. And I asked the sister, I said, hey, what's wrong with Mom Brenda? They said, I don't know. I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, why is she in the tent? Why isn't she coming out of the tent in the mornings? So nobody was seeing her until like the afternoon and in the evening for dinner. So she began to try to come out. She began to try to walk the hill. No, what happened was they said, hey, Mom Brenda wants to see you. She wants you to lay hands on her. I said, okay, no problem. I'll be over there in a minute. But everybody knows I only had my 2 older children with me. I didn't have my wife because she was on purification, right? So I saw Teacher Greg. I said, Teacher Greg, man, can you please go see what's wrong with Mom Brenda, because I'm dealing with my children, just and report back. So he goes and checks on her. By the time he goes and checks on her, she says she's fine. So, okay, fine, she's fine. One thing led to another. Never heard nothing about it for the rest of the feast. I get home. She seems like she's doing fine. A few weeks later, I go to Straightway, Tennessee for a Sabbath, for a weekend. I get a phone call, she's dead. I get back home, right? And I'm trying to figure everything out. Next thing you know, I got 2 women step forward. And they said, oh, at the feast. Now, this is stuff I did know. At the feast, she was like having a hard time breathing. She was trying to walk the hill. We had to stop about 4 or 5 times walking up the hill just so she can get all the way up the hill. She had a bad cough. Okay. She had laborious breathing. We get back to the land. We get back home after the feast. She's having a hard time working in the garden. She's laborious, but she won't stop. She's getting deliverance every week, talking about a spirit of death is after me. And so I'm thinking to myself, no one thought to tell me any of this? Nope. So then next thing you know, she's getting these deliverances. And so then I left to go to the hub, and they said that 6th day, she's outside working the garden. She has laborious breathing. A sister pointed it out to her, told her maybe she should take it easy. She said she'll be fine. And she comes inside, and another woman asked her, a woman that's not, don't really talk to her like that, asked her, how are you fine? She's like, I'll be fine. And that, it'll get better. She turns around, fries some chicken, sits down eating the fried chicken. All right. Then they said she was sitting for Blog Talk, and she was sitting there. And normally she stays up. I know her. She stays up all night. She would stay up throughout the whole. She don't miss anything that Pastor Dowell has to say. She would listen to everything he has to say, even if he only for 3 hours. She'll stay up the whole 3 hours. Well, that night she made the statement, "I ain't gonna make it, y'all." And she got up, went to the back, and no one ever saw her alive again. So all the stuff I didn't know. So when I'm questioning the women on this, they are saying that, she's like waking up at night. She said she was waking up at night, and it was like she was like it was like a thud waking her up. And I believe what was happening is that she was dying, but she was like kind of snapping back too, if you will. And that's how she was waking up. So she was in fear, and she didn't want to go to sleep. So my new rule was, if you are a single woman and you got something going on, Elder Mitchell needs to know about it. Which, honestly, when sisters like Kyrisha was here, it was a no-brainer. Kyrisha would ask me, can I fast? She wouldn't fast without asking me anything. She would. So that's what I was used to. I was used to like someone like her being around. Even Sister Catherine, they'd be like, can I fast? Yes, you can fast. Okay, can I do this? Yes, you could do that. So that's what I was used to. But so and if she had issues, someone like Kyrisha had issues, she would actually tell me, if she had something going on, and I would work with her. Right now, I got Sister Ray here. She's the same way. So, but with this situation with my brother, that wasn't so. So I had no idea what was going on. So my rule was, listen, if you're a single woman, I need to know exactly what you got going on. I need to know why you're getting deliverance and everything. You know why? Because these sisters turn everything into spiritual issues. They don't look at anything natural. They don't look at the fact that maybe they're harming themselves by something that they're naturally doing, specifically what they're putting in their mouth. Because, think about it. Most of these women are overweight. Most sisters are overweight. And the last thing they want to do is change their eating habits. The last thing they want to do is take away something that their flesh enjoys. And so, once again, we got a situation where we're ignoring the signs, and we want to make it all spiritual. See, what happened with me, I did that which is natural, then that which is spiritual. So, and I think us men tend to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. The thought does come to my mind when I was having my issue with my itch and my pruritus. I did say to myself, man, y'all, am I off somewhere? That thought did cross my mind to ask the Most High, am I off somewhere? I did pray, can you show me my sin? If that's why I'm going through what I'm going through as well. But some of these sisters, man, it's all spirit. It's all spiritual. When in a lot of cases, it's all natural. It's literally all natural. It's just, you could just change something and it all goes away. So I truly believe, once again, that these are things that can be prevented, if we just listen, if we just hear the authority that's over us, if we just hear them out. I mean, these men are ordained for a reason. They're put in place for a reason. I believe that it would do you well to just take heed. Sometimes Shepherd, Pastor Dowell, he just tells me, so he'll tell me something to do with my family, right? He'll say, this is just a suggestion. And he'll tell me. And I can't think of one suggestion that I probably haven't followed. I can't think of one. There may be one, but I can't think of one that I didn't at least say this, that I didn't consider. I've always considered what the man has told me all the time, every last time. Every time he tells me that, I've truly considered it. But You know, we're not micromanagers. We're not going to force you to do it. But man, if someone truly considers, I think that that will go a long way. So anyway, I don't want to ramble on, but you know, silent rebellion, call it what you will. I just see it as just flat out stubbornness, you know, stiff neckedness, you know, rebellion. You know, it's just, we gotta listen, man. We gotta take heed. We gotta listen. We gotta listen to sound counsel. We gotta listen to sound wisdom. And just because you're a man, just because you grown up and you maturing, don't mean you got it all figured out. It don't. I don't have it all figured out. I still pull from that which is good. I do. I pay attention to all men. I literally do. I pay attention to men older than me, men younger than me. I look at it all because I want to add to my repertoire, if you will. If I see a good trait about a young brother, an older brother that is, I believe, is sound, I'll add it to what I already got going on. I'll actually take that. Just like when I go to an assembly and I see something that they do that we can add that will benefit us, I do it. So anyway, bless y'all. Hope that helps. Shalom, shalom.